Hi, good morning. I'd like to upload my presentation and send it, but I cannot.
Here it is in the screen, Undersecretary.
Oh, yeah. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
And we have some issues with translation. Hope you can understand it. My English is not so good, but if you see the general aspect of mobility in the metropolitan area of Mexico City, you can see a decrease of 60% in the total number of trips. However, there are big differences between the central area, the core area of the city, and the outskirts. In the case of the outskirts, which are poor areas, low-income areas, the decrease has been way much lower. Why? Because the informal economy cannot stop. Quarantine is not an option for many people in Mexico City. They still need to work there. As many people have mentioned in this conversation, this is not only a public health crisis, it's also an economic crisis. So we need to balance public health needs with economic needs. In the case of Mexico City, we have launched a campaign in order to keep people at home. I think it has been successful. You can see the numbers. In some cases, the reduction is 65%, 70% in some services. However, the total number is still big. In the case of metro system, 60% of reduction means that there are still 2 million trips made by metro every day. It's a lot of people, especially in some lines. Please, the next slide. Next slide. The challenges, as many people have mentioned, protect both users and operators. It means hygiene and social distance. And one very important thing, keep frequencies of public transportation as much as possible. That's pretty important. I know the income of public transportation systems has decreased a lot, but it's important to make an effort to keep frequencies. High frequency means adequate social distance. Second, it's important to flatten the demand curve. The demand management is possible. It's possible to move some schedules in some services. For instance, banks open usually at 9 a.m. You can move that opening time to 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. in order to spread demand in the transportation system. I think if we can flatten the demand curve, and I think the most important discovery of this crisis is how the number of meetings that can be replaced by video conferences. It's something we have discovered. So it's possible to reduce the number of trips, and it's possible to distribute trips throughout the day. That's pretty important. And finally, it's really important to provide clear and daily communication. Every day you need to communicate first the measures you are adopting. Second, it's impossible to introduce campaigns in order to keep social distance and hygiene. Finally, and please, the next slide. Some learnings. Demand can and should be managed in the case of public transportation systems. It's important to distribute trips throughout the day. People who can stay home, please stay home. And it's possible to reduce some trips. That I think it's a key lesson for the near future. Second, short-term planning is needed. Planners usually like to think in long-term plans, and this crisis has demonstrated that we need to implement short, flexible plans that can be changed day by day. We had some ideas 2 weeks ago, that had to be changed, but now they are completely useless. And in order to do that, it's very important to measure. You measure. Some cities don't have reliable data. It doesn't matter. Please collect all the information you can have. The information that Mexico City is collecting day by day in the public transport sector, but also from technological platforms like Waze, for instance, has been used by the federal government in order to map the behavior of Mexican population during this crisis.
Okay.
Every day, there's, okay, and finally, my final idea, adequate communication. It's important to provide communication that everybody can understand.